Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Micah. Today we are going to be talking about, oh yes, my perfume collection. I already have a video like this up, but that was recorded in 2018 and since then my collection has changed a lot. If you saw that video, you may remember me saying in that video that there were quite a lot of scents in my collection at the time that I wasn't a big fan of, because that was sort of the culmination of me trying out a lot of things to try and figure out what I actually like in terms of fragrance. Ugh, I can't say that word. Fragrance. There we go. It's been a journey for me, and now that I know a lot better what I like, I have definitely been buying some other things, and since I didn't want all that perfume to go to waste, I also used up quite a bit. So I think I used up like 5 or 6 different perfumes in the past year and a half, and I'm very close to using up another one. So I just wanted to film this video before I use that up to give you an update on my perfume collection and where it stands now. So the first perfume I'd like to feature is Chopar's Wish, and that's the one I'm about to use up. Let me show you this because this is very low. As you can see, I only have a little bit of this left, and it's getting very difficult to get all of the product out of this. So yeah, I think I have 1 or 2 more uses of this left. This was a bottle, a 30 ml bottle that I bought with a gift voucher a long time ago. I used to really buy perfumes on like sales and discounts and coupons, those kind of things. And this was very pleasant. I've been wearing it for like the past 2 months because when I started using it, it was still above that thicker part here. So I had only used a little bit of it. But I do feel that once I got past that like thicker bit, it went down really quickly. So this is a nice enough scent. It's quite warm. I really liked wearing this in the winter time, but it's just not very special to me. It's kind of standard and everyday, and while that's nice, I mean, I can wear this to work and it's just fine. But what I found the worst about this perfume is that it didn't really have good lasting power. I believe in fragrance terms it's silage. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but it just doesn't stay put. It evaporates on my skin very, very quickly, and I can put this on at the beginning of the day and I won't smell it again for like, if I smell myself, then it's not there anymore a couple of hours later. So this doesn't stay put, which is why I wanted to use it up, because it's just one that I do like the scent of. It's just a little basic and not something that I would want to repurchase. Fragrance number 2 that I would like to feature is one that I've had for a long time. I'm not sure if I should still be using this. This is Hugo Boss's Deep Red, and I've had this for years. There's only a little bit left. This also has a bit of a wider bit, so you can see a little bit where it's darker. That's where the liquid is, so that's what's still left, but this still smells okay. This is a very warm, rich scent. I'm not sure if I would pick it out again. It feels a bit old lady-ish, perhaps, but at the time I really liked it, and this lasts all day. I remember putting this on like in the morning, and then I can still smell it a little bit on myself the next day. So this is really good lasting powder. And I think now that I smell it again, like I never really wear this a lot anymore. It's just like memory's sake, you could say, because it was one of the first perfumes I ever bought. But this was, yeah, I don't know. It's very sort of rich, but still soft. It's very warm. Again, more of like a winter scent, I think. But that was very enjoyable. And then one that I have to keep on top of things because it's so big is this 100 ml bottle of the Katy Perry Killer Queen perfume. I'm not even sure what this is called anymore. I think it was her first launch, so not any of the later ones. And this, I bought in a Christmas sale, and I don't like sweet scents, but this has a very strong berry note to it, and as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it because the liquid is coming down to there. And this, I don't know, again, when I smell this, this is like my more updated version of that Hugo Boss perfume, I feel. It has a little bit more sweetness to it. Again, a really good scent for the fall and winter time. That's when I like to wear this. And this is just, it has like raspberry, blackberry kind of scent to it, so it's quite sweet. Not something I usually go for, but it still has that warmth to it that I really tend to enjoy. So let's whiz through some OG favorites before I go into the things that I have been purchasing lately. I have a couple still in here that I still really enjoy, but again, I don't wear them a whole lot anymore. But DKNY's Pure was one of my favorite scents for when I wanted something very fresh and clean, which is something I don't normally go for anymore, but this was really nice if you want something that sort of gives you that pick-me-up, like after a workout or something, like you want to smell a bit nicer. It has a very nice clean scent to it, and I'm not even sure if you can still get this. I don't think this still is available. I haven't seen it in any stores. Could be very well, since it's an older perfume, that it's tucked away in a bottom corner, who knows. But I still really like this scent. Again, it has a little bit more sweetness to it, but it also, this really reminds me of like freshly washed laundry. And this is just one that I really like to, like, when you come out of the shower and you just want to amp it up a little bit, and this is really nice. Another OG, I'm not sure how long I've had this one for, but this is Diesel's Fuel for Life, again in a smaller bottle. And this was one I always still enjoy. Again, like DKNY Pure, it has a fresher smell to it. And you can definitely, like, with these kind of perfumes, you can sort of smell that they are a bit more cheaply made. You can, especially in this one, I can like sort of smell the alcohol in this one that's in here, which is not a good thing. So again, not something I would repurchase, but since I still have some left, this is one that I do still enjoy wearing from time to time, but I'm not ready to commit to moving this out of my collection just yet. One that I'm always umming and ahhing about because I just don't wear it a lot is the White Musk Sun Glow Limited Edition Eau de Toilette by The Body Shop. And I bought this at the time because this smells like sunscreen in a bottle. It's such a lovely scent for the summertime. Maybe I should just start traveling with this, but it's still a little bit big and bulky, and it is a glass bottle, so I'm never sure whether I want to risk traveling with this because it might break, but it is a perfect like summertime scent. It really just smells like sunscreen. I already said that, but that's what this reminds me of the most. Then my OG favorite scent that when I found this, I was like, if I had to have a signature scent, it would have to be this. I haven't been wearing this enough, I feel, because of all of the other perfumes that I was trying to use up. But this is one I definitely want to go back into. This is Flora Botanica by Balenciaga. Not a fragrance I hear a lot of people talking about or raving about. The bottle is definitely sort of, you know, a little out there. But this starts... when you first smell this, it smells like freshly mowed lawns, like freshly cut grass. That freshness, that almost like a mint, like a hint of mint to it. But when it sits on your skin and the way it develops and it goes more into the base notes, it has a more deeper, more muskier sort of base to it, which is what I like. And when I wear this, I always get lots of compliments because for some reason, this perfume and my personal body chemistry just go together so well. This is the 50 ml bottle. I already used up a 30 ml of this in the past, and I'm definitely looking into buying an even bigger bottle because this is one that I just always want to get on hand. Have on hand, I should say. And this is starting to become a little harder to find. It's still listed on the Balenciaga website though, so they're not discontinuing this anytime soon. But like even in this 50 ml bottle, like I've already used like a third of it. So this is one I definitely want to get back to once I have like used up that Chopard Wish one, because then I can definitely start like rotating through fragrance a little bit more, because I tend to sort of be someone who puts on a perfume either according to the season and then my mood. That's really important too. Flora Botanica is a scent I feel I can wear all year round and it doesn't really matter. I definitely have a couple of fragrances that I tend to really save for particular seasons, and these two Chloe perfumes to me are fall scents. I don't know what's about it, what it is about them that makes me only reach for them in the fall time, but that's when I love these. Let's talk about my favorite of the two, and this you can no longer get. This has been discontinued. This is Love Chloe, and again, because I have been trying to use up all those other fragrances, I haven't used this a whole lot, but this is one that I just don't want to go through, because as you can see, I'm quite low on this. It's like 2/3 gone. And it doesn't go into, like, this is where the fragrance stops. Like, this is just packaging. So there's no more in there. So this is what I have left. And this is such a, again, a bit of a sweet scent and very powdery. I find that Chloe perfumes, at least the two I have, are quite powdery. The little chain that it came with broke off, and this is one that, if it is gone, I'm going to be very sad, because this is just one of my favorites, and it's such a sort of girly scent, like this and like a nice girly dress, and I just feel super duper feminine. I don't know what it is about perfume and how it can influence my mood. This is not one that makes you feel sexy, it's just one that makes you feel very feminine. And the same actually goes for the original Chloe perfume. I had this in a smaller 30 ml bottle, but then I was gifted this 50 ml bottle at some point. So I passed on the 30 ml bottle to my mom, and then I started using this. But as you can see, I haven't used this a whole lot because I just preferred this one more. But I do feel that in terms of what they give me is that sort of like femininity, that powderiness. Yeah, and this I can't even smell because I haven't worn this in some time. I just still really like it. It's a good classic to have on hand, and I'm glad I have it in a bigger bottle. But where I have some OG favorite scents for the fall time, I also have them for the spring summer time, and that's these two. I don't know why I go for these more florally scents, because these flowers on the caps definitely make these stand out as a lot more florally. Marc Jacobs Daisy is of course a scent I think that a lot of people love. This is one that I don't always like on myself. Again, spring, summertime is where it's at for me. This is the Eau de Toilette, I believe, because the Eau de Parfum was one that actually gave me an allergic reaction, and I was filled with red splotches when I sprayed it onto my arm in store. Not a good thing, so I'm not sure what it is about this perfume. But this is just one that, again, it smells very sort of florally, and I quite like that about scents sometimes, but I found out that these more like gourmand, sort of like woodsy, musky smells are just my favorite. So me buying this Hugo Boss Deep Red all those years ago definitely it was a nod in the right direction, but not quite there yet. So Marc Jacobs Daisy is just one that I really, really love. I don't think I would repurchase it. Again, I'm sort of like just past a halfway point on this one, and I just really, really like it. It is a good one for the spring, summertime, but I think I would like to try to find a different floral scent that I might like more than this, and I think I may have already purchased that. And then the other one I have here is Dolce by Dolce & Gabbana. This is one that I picked up at the airport very randomly. I wasn't even planning on buying a perfume. And when I first got this, I favored it over Marc Jacobs Daisy. That's how much I loved it. So this is a lot of use from that time. But last year I went back to more of the Marc Jacobs again, and I wore this a little less. But I tend to sort of go between these two because this is also a very sort of florally scent. This is a bit fresher. The Marc Jacobs one is a bit, well, harsher almost. This is a bit more wearable. This is a very easy everyday perfume. This is not one that a lot of people who are into fragrance rave about because it's just that simple. Like it's not a very complex scent. It's just one that you can throw on in the morning and you know you will smell nice for the rest of the day. And I sometimes like that. And then there are two more fragrances that I have that are sort of like quite standard fragrances. I definitely try to expand my horizon when it comes to fragrance, which you'll see in a minute. The other one that I want to show you here is Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel. I remember that I really wanted to try a Chanel perfume, and so I got this one. I tried smelling a lot of what is in their line, and a lot of it I just felt was not me. So that's why when I decided to get one, I went with this one. And I remember when I wear this, again, I get lots of compliments when I do. It is, again, very feminine, but not super powdery, but it does have that hint of freshness to it. So it's sort of like, I feel the more modern version of their number 5 scent. I just feel that that's a bit too old lady-ish for me. And this is just more like, it's like a really good fragrance, I think, if you're in your 20s and your 30s. Like, it's a bit more grown up. It's not too young. It is not too heavy and like sultry, but this is definitely one that if you spray it on, it will stay put all day, and I love it. And then my newest acquisition, this is the last perfume I bought, is YSL's Black Opium. This is one that I have been umming and ahhing about for such a long time, but that's also why I only bought it in the small size, because I'm not sure about this one. I like the scent of this so much, and it's one that I've smelled so often, and so many people like this, of course. So I was like, do I want to commit? And I was like, you know what? I'll try the smaller bottle, and then if I love it and use it up, I can buy a bigger one at any point in time. So this is a very gourmand scent. I believe this is quite a like heavy vanilla scent to it, but it also leans a little bit more masculine because I believe this also has tobacco and more like leather fragrance in it, which you find a lot in men's fragrance. And that's definitely something that I still would like to try. Not sure if I should, but I would like to try a men's fragrance, I think. And then we're getting into my fragrances that are a bit more niche. I'm not pretending to be an expert here. I definitely wanted to try some other perfumes that are harder to find, especially where I live in the Netherlands. If you have access to Sephora, you can find all of these quite easily, but the other fragrances that I wanted to try a little bit more of are just a little bit less easy to get, depending on where you are. First up, I have these two small versions by Nest and I never know how to pronounce this, but Maison Margiela. They're replica perfumes, and I really wanted to try one of the replica perfumes. And then when I was at Sephora in the US, they had these like little spray versions for a lot less money than what you buy a full size for, because this only comes in one size, so you immediately have to commit to 100 mils, and I find that very difficult because I'm always very undecided. But I decided to get it in Beach Walk. That's the one, like, we now have this fragrance in the Netherlands. It's sold at Ici Paris, but very often, because it's such a popular fragrance, their testers are out and all that. So when I was in Paris last summer, I definitely tried a few to see which ones I like, because I think it's called By the Fireside. That one I also like, and they have a library one which like smells like old books. I love it. And that's sort of like the idea behind this line, is that the fragrance sort of takes you back to certain memories. And this Beach Walk one ended up being my favorite because it is a little bit more summery. So especially since I'm quite low on my summertime perfumes, I thought, well, this way I can at least try it out and see if I would like to put it in there. So this is quite like, you know, a day at the beach. It has that like sort of sandy, salty sort of fragrance to it. And that's what I really liked about it. Plus, in the end, I felt that this stayed put on my skin a lot better than By the Fireside, which was the other one I was umming and ahhing about. So that's a really nice one, but I have yet to wear it, but I'm sort of saving it for the springtime. And then a brand I had heard of, but that I had never really looked into, is Nest. And Nest is, I think, sold exclusively at US Sephora. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I decided to buy their Rollerball again to try it out in Cocoa Woods. And this is a unisex fragrance, and this is just one of those things where I'm like, yes, you can smell the cocoa, like this like very sort of like a very rich cocoa scent, but then it also has that like woodsy sort of fresh leaves kind of scent to it at the same time. So it's warm and fresh at the same time, not too floral, not super duper overly sweet at all. Like, I don't really like if it's like too like sickly, like berry sweet kind of thing, which is why I was so surprised that I like this one so much. I was just super like, why do I like this so much? But I do. So if it's done well, it's okay, but I don't want to smell like candy. It's just not my thing. I don't like it in my like body care things as well, but this, I smelled this in store, and I really had to track down the Rollerball because it was sold out pretty much everywhere. So I think it's one of their most famous scents as well. I think it's also one of their newer ones. And then a fragrance I have been umming and ahhing about for a very long time, but you can't buy it in the Netherlands, is Stella by Stella McCartney. This is a fragrance that a lot of people have been raving about, and it's one that apparently was changed, and people don't really like the changed version. So I have the newer version. I don't know what the first version smells like. And this is a rose-based scent. And when it comes to florals, I really like rose, but only if it's done well. And that's what I like about this one. It is one, again, that doesn't have the best lasting power. I've tried this in stores a few times when I was in London, and then it doesn't stay around all day, and I believe that the older version did, which is what people don't like about this anymore. But this is, again, like a grown-up floral fragrance, and it's just one that I really wanted to try. I haven't worn this a lot yet because, again, I was trying to use this up, and I've only owned it for a few months, so not something I've used a lot, but again, a good contender for like spring, summer season. And then, not the last time I went to the US, but the time before that, I did what I now did with those two like roller bowls, like small sprayers, because at Sephora US, you have this entire section where they have roller bowls of very popular perfumes. And one brand that they sell that is very hard to get anywhere from anywhere else is Elizabeth and James. And at the time, I bought one of their roller balls in their bourbon scent. And then I found out that Feel Unique stocks Elizabeth and James. It's the only European retailer I found that stocks Elizabeth and James. So I decided to get a full size, I think this is the 30 mil. I think I got 30 mils. Yeah, 30 mils of bourbon, because that was just the one that when I tried it out in store, when I was in the US at the time, that was my favorite. And this is a vanilla based scent. It's very gourmand, but also like quite sexy and very warm and rich and just yummy goodness. I really like this, and I passed on the rollerball to my mom, and now she loves it too, so I think I may have to get her this as a birthday gift at some point. But then I had also heard great things about another one of their perfumes that I think was released around the same time, and this is French Grey, and this is, I think, a really good replacement actually for the Chloe perfume I like so much, because this is a bit more like dusty, powdery, but it's still very fresh as well. So I think it's a very different fragrance. It's nothing like the Chloe perfume, I have to say, but I really like this. This is one that I sort of bought on a whim because I didn't know what it smelled like, but one of the bloggers I follow, Baubles and Knots, Cassie, she loves this. It's her favorite fragrance, and she was like, if you try Elizabeth and James, definitely try French Grey. So that's what I did, and I can't wait to try these more because I've worn them like once or twice since I got them. But it's just a little bit more difficult to try things out when you're trying to use things up at the same time. So I will do that once the Chopard Wish one is gone. And then I just have one more brand left. And I think this is a blogger favorite, and that's Jo Malone, and I have 3 of their perfumes because I decided I wanted to try some new perfumes when I had used up a few. I think I spent like a good half year first like trying things out, trying to use things up. And then I went to the Jo Malone counter in my town and was smelling things out, and I picked out this one. This is English Oak and Hazelnut, and this is like a walk in the woods when it has just rained. That's what this reminds me of. And it's one thing, like one reason why I knew I'd like Cocoa Woods by Nest, because this is such a nice woodsy, sort of like fresh leaf kind of smell. It's very different from anything else I own. However, I do have to say that it is very much in line with Flora Botanica, I have to say. It's just less floral. This is a bit fresher, I think, and it stays smelling the same, whereas this, I feel, changes completely as you're wearing it. It really loses that freshness, whereas this keeps it, and this stays put on me so well. Like, I can smell this all day. It was a pricey purchase, but I'm so happy, and I did get the large bottle straight away because this was instant love. Like, I smelled this, and I was like, yes. And the lady at the counter was very helpful, too, and she was very good at, like, telling me, like, a lot about their fragrances in their line and trying to find out what I might like. She sort of asked me, like, what kind of fragrances do you like? And I explained it, and she was like, oh, then you might like this, this, and that one. She gave me 3 options. This was one of them, and I was like, yes. So this was like, I haven't smelled anything like this before. It's absolutely gorgeous. And because I like that one so much, I was given a tester by Wood Sage and Sea Salt. And this is a really nice one. It's very similar to like Beach Walk from the Replica perfumes. But this is a little bit fresher, I would say. It's not as salty. But I felt that this didn't last on my skin as long. So when I had to decide between these two, I first went with this one. And I got this one in a smaller size because this smells best on me if I layer it over this. This is Dark Amber and Ginger Lily, and these are two fragrances that work really well together. This is from their Cologne Intense line, so these are a lot more potent, and you only need a little bit to get this to smell nicely. I feel that this smells nicely on its own. This does too, but I have to be in the mood for this one, whereas if I paired them together, perfection. So I already knew that when I tried it out at the counter, so I wanted to get this because this is another one of their very famous ones, and it was sort of like my second choice. But then it's like, yeah, but you can also layer our perfumes, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So I bought these two to sort of go together. I don't think I will be wearing this a lot on its own, but again, this could be a very good travel perfume because it is quite small and handy, so something I could potentially travel with. And that's it. There you have it. Those were all of the perfumes I wanted to show you in this video. That is my entire perfume collection. Some of these I've had for years. Others have been acquired in like the past year or so. I definitely wanted to like update it, elevate it, because, you know, I'm no longer in my 20s, which is when I bought a lot of those other perfumes. And it was just time for an update, you know, and an upgrade as well. So some of these I have yet to try out a little bit more. Some of them I know I love, and I can't wait to try them more once I have used up this little fella here. And then I will start rotating out a lot of these a lot more and just like wear a different one every day. And I'm so looking forward to it because I have so many great scents now. And so yeah. That being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make new videos 3 times a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. But don't forget to also check out my book channel if you're interested in that kind of content, because I post new videos on that channel, Floating in Books, once a week on Fridays. So lots of content coming your way. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
I put